Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Clip Studio Paint tutorial. In this tutorial, I wanted to go over the text tool, which allows you to put your text or your dialogue in your comic books. And it's as easy as typing it up. No more drawing your text by hand. You can now type it just like a Word document. So here is the second to the last tool is your text tool. And so the first tool, the subtool, is the text, and so here's your tool properties, which will allow you to change the properties of the text. This drop down right here allows you to select what font you would like to use, and these fonts come from your whatever's on your computer. So on my Mac, I'm using, it has fonts automatically in my Macintosh computer. So if you want custom fonts, you can certainly do that. So when you select the font tool or the text tool and you click on your canvas, it automatically generates a raster layer for you. So there's no need to create a raster layer. And then you'll see next to the raster layer there's a little square with the letter A and a little 3D cube. That lets you know it is like a 3D or a property, a tool that lets you manipulate it. So once you rasterize that layer, though, it becomes fixed. So I would suggest don't rasterize it. And so you also have these various tools, just like on a Word document. You can make it bold, italic, underline, and strike out. You can I'm trying to type with my Wacom pen in my hand, and it's proving difficulty. When you can also justify your text either to the left, to the right, or center. So that's what I'm demonstrating here. Now, just like a Word document, you have to highlight it so that it will affect the text. You can also change it to a horizontal, or vertical, but I would suggest not doing that. If you want your text to be vertical, I would wait till you rasterize it, and then you can manipulate it with the transform. But it's up to you. The tool is there. So yeah. So here's, every font that is in your computer will be in Clip Studio Paint. So if you've ever downloaded custom fonts for your Mac or your PC, they will be there. In fact, I will demonstrate downloading a custom font for your Mac. I'm not going to do it for the PC, obviously, because I'm not on a PC. But so that here's a custom font that I've downloaded. Feast of the Flesh, I believe it's called. I missed an O there. Sorry. Hello World. There we go. Not Hell World. Hello World. Okay, so yeah, you can download any custom font you want, and it'll be there. There is one caveat though. Once you download the font, you will have to reboot Clip Studio Paint. So, and you can also change the font by either manipulating that square, or you can manually type the pixel size. So this is the website that I go to get fonts. It's called 1001fonts.com, and you just pretty much search for a theme, and so scary, and so some Halloween themed fonts come up, and then up on the top you'll also see some in the light gray area you'll see some suggestions of themes. So maybe I don't want scary, I want horror, so I'll click horror, and then I can X out the scary, and then I can see, okay, they have all these fonts here. I'll download one just to so this one, horror dingbats, I'll download it, and on a Mac you just simply click it, the zip file, and then inside the zip file you open up the folder, and the font will be a .ttf file, and that's the one you want to double click. And computer's being a little slow, and so there it is. So you just click install font, wait till it installs, and there you go. So now the font is installed. You may not see it here. I never do see it here. Here's some other. This is what I use for my comics. Anime Ace 2. That's what I used for use for my comics. So it comes highly. It's free. It comes highly recommended. So it makes your comics look professional. You don't want to use Arial text or font for your comic books. It makes it look very amateurish. That anime font came highly recommended from some indie comic forums. So I closed down Clip Studio Paint, and now I'm reopening Clip Studio Paint. Let me put a new canvas here, and so now I'm gonna look for it. It was called what was it called? Horror dingbats. So let's look for horror dingbats. So there's these little tabs down below the scrolling list of fonts, where I'm in the second tab right now, which shows you what the font looks like. The first tab will just give you the name of the font. So seeing as how this font has images, not letters, I'm gonna need it to on the first tab so I can read it. So, but I usually keep it on the second tab because I like to see what the font looks like when I'm choosing a font. It's just that this particular one, it doesn't have letters, they're images. So I'm just gonna type in hello world again, and I think I'm spelling it right. I really can't tell because these are not letters. But you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Make sure to smash that like button. So here I'm just gonna change it to Anime Ace 2. That's the like I said, that's the font you want for your comics. Now, how to arrange your text or your font in your comic books, that's really up to you, the individual. Lots of people do it different ways. My philosophy is because the pages are a portrait style, I try to keep my dialogue as narrow as possible. So so here in the same text tool, the next subtool below it is a square bubble, and it's just pretty much click and drag, and you can pick the border color, and you can pick the inside color. Here you can see I changed the background to blue so that you can see that when you create the bubble, it makes a white interior paint. So, and then again, you can still manipulate. You can manipulate the font, and you can manipulate the bubble. Usually, the square bubble is used for narration, like when when the narrator of the story is telling something to the reader, or when you're explaining a location. Hey, make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And so you can also change it to a blue, like, so if you wanted to make it just look like a square. But and so the second to the last subtool of the text tool is the tails, the balloon tails. You can change the width. They're talking about how thick the width is. Usually, it just depends on how big your art is. And then the very last one is more for thought bubbles. So they have these little bubbles that come out. Now you can also do a polyline, which is where you click it in multiple areas, and it kind of gives you, if you want to give it a kind of like an S shape or something. Oh, and then there's this spline, which I don't understand. It kind of, to me, it kind of looked like it's doing the same thing, but I don't know. Maybe more of a curvature, where the polyline is more of a angular, where you have sharp turns. But usually I just do spline because I like to shape it how I want to. And you can do the same thing for the balloon tail, which is more when verbal. Now there's also other shapes here you can use in if you go over here to your folders over here on the right. There's a drop down that says balloons, and you can pretty much just drag and drop these already pre-made balloon shapes, and you can manipulate it however you want. So here I'm moving the dialogue over, but I need to put the dialogue below the balloon so that you can see it. And so I can go to the balloon and reshape it so my dialogue will fit inside. And then I can grab go back to the text tool and grab the tail, and then put a tail or whatever. So you have those options there to if you want to use one of those already pre-made balloons. They've also got these other balloons here. They're, for different moods or whatever. This one's feelings, and then there's narration. See, the narrations are usually square, but again, you don't have to use these. You can draw them yourself if you want. There's these tools here, right below the square one. So you have this curved one. And so you pick your colors, whatever you want, for your outline, and then your inner color. So this first one here is like really sharp turns. So you just click, point and click, click, tap your screen if you're on a Cintiq or Intuos. And then you have the curved one where you can make more of rounded shapes. This one here is you click 2 points and then you start making the curve. And then this last one is this one's tricky. I don't use these too often. I usually just use you see I'm trying to work it, but it gets I'm not too familiar with this one. See, I'm trying to manipulate the curve, but it won't let me. Yeah, the one I usually use is the square one, but in a minute here I'll show you that you can make more than just squares. You can also make ellipses, and you can also make I think they're octagons. So here I'm just playing with the bubbles. Oh, also if you intersect dialogue bubbles, it will automatically connect them for you. So the software will assume that you're trying to connect 2 bubbles together. And then the last one is like a pin, where you basically just draw it the bubble any shape you want. So that's up to you. Now see here, it didn't connect them because there are 2 separate dialog boxes, or 2 separate dialog raster layers right there. So if it was all in one, then it would connect them. So if you ever did want to make one dialog box on top of the other, you would have to create two separate rasters. So here, going back to the I'm gonna go back to the rectangular dialog box, and I'll show you the circle. So as soon as I stop messing. Now I can also, if I have a lot of white space in that balloon, maybe I want to smush it a little bit more. So what I do is I click this here, and I can readjust this window here. If I go up, it'll stretch it longwise, and then if I go sideways, it'll smush it for me. So I'll find something that fits the dialogue. You can also these bubbles become a vector layer, so you can manipulate. If you just want to tweak it a little bit, you can do that as well. And then of course you can click them and hit delete on your keyboard, and it'll go away. And so yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be the text tool in Clip Studio Paint. Remember, if you want custom fonts, you can go to 1001fonts.com. I'll show the website here in a little bit again, but I hope you found this video helpful and informative. So when you guys create some fonts for your comic books. So if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I have a Twitter account if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, so you guys get notified when my next videos come up. So I hope to see you guys in the next one.